a child, changing Haiti for the Lord, where all can be restored. Be a love a child. Be a love a child. Teach them, feed them, reach them. Love a child.
I could feel their desperation. You could feel the desperation in the air. I'm sure that what they're thinking is, that truck has only so many boxes. We are a mass of people. How am I to be sure I'm going to get my box? I see anger, desperation, despair, and I understand it. I mean, I think that I would feel that way too. I would fight and gnaw my way through a crowd to feed my child. If my kid was starving, I don't think any mother should have to watch their child starve to death. I have utmost respect for what Love a Child does. I don't know how they do what they do.
Here we are in Gerlande, Haiti. We feed one of our schools here every day, but not the starving people all in this area. Oh my goodness, everybody's without a job. It's just awful, and they have a great need. So Sherry, let's explain. A person comes with a Love a Child card. We passed them out yesterday through the mayor of the city.
Right.
One person represents a family. And we mark that card yellow, so we know they received food. And then they carry that food home. And each box of food is 36 packets, and that food lasts that family for just about a month to help sustain them. And what we're doing, Sherry, you told me earlier, as we all agreed,
25 at a time come in the gate.
there's hundreds and hundreds on the outside of the gate. You open the gate, there was stampede in here. It'd be very, very dangerous. It'd be very dangerous for all of us. They would stampede in, so we're looking 25 in at a time to have it organized.
Bobby, we have
Love a Child
security
card.
guards, we have security guards, and these people are here help putting them in a line. There's people checking their card off so that they can't go back. They get one box of food because there's thousands out there that do not have food.
We passed out 1,500 cards, but there's way, way more people than that who don't have cards, who have need of food because we don't have enough of food. And so there's just an untold mass of people out there in front of the gate. So Sherry and I live in our orphans home. This is probably, 25 minutes from us
About 25.
to where we live here in the country of Haiti. And we have police here watching and helping and organizing. And we have Feed My Starving Children team here today, helping volunteer. And God bless them. You'll be hearing more about them later in the program. God bless you all the way from Gerlande, Haiti.
Bobby and Sherry Burnett need your help immediately to continue feeding starving babies and children in Haiti. These precious children are impoverished. Most have malnutrition, many are abandoned, and all of them go to sleep hungry each night. They are waiting to receive food, and your gift is desperately needed now. Please go to loveachild.com, call the toll-free number, or write to the address on your screen and say, "I want to help." He that giveth to the poor shall not lack. In other words, God takes care of those who take care of the poor. On behalf of the starving children in Haiti, thank you, and may God richly bless you.
Hi, I'm Sherry Burnett, and I'm here in a typical Haitian village in the country of Haiti. You see villages like this all over Haiti, nothing fancy. Got a little mama right here who we just walked up and talked to just a few moments ago. And she's got just like a little old tarp that's made of a sack, and it's covering her kitchen area where she would normally cook for her children. But when I walk in, I just see nothing but empty pots. And when I come and ask a mom, what has she fed her children today? The answer is usually, well, I boiled salt water. Or I'm going to go gather some leaves and put it in a pot and add a few leaves and some salt. Or maybe she'll say, I've had nothing at all for my children today. I just sit here and wait until God does something for me. But you know, people in Haiti, especially mothers, they do desperate things when their children are hungry. You're going to hear a story today about a mother that was desperate and what she sold because she was desperate to feed all the other children. You're not going to believe this story. It will really touch your heart. Desperation makes hungry people and children do strange things. Listen with your heart. You know, mothers in Haiti will go to such extreme, desperate measures to feed their children. I always thought that I understood what that meant until I began to talk to people and understand the stories of the struggles with these mothers here in Haiti and how they have to struggle every single day to find food for their children. One was a case of a little girl by the name of Gerlande. Gerlande's mother had 13 children. She lived in a mud hut far, far, far in the mountains. Gerlande's father had died, now leaving the mother a widow with all these hungry mouths to feed. Gerlande's mother tried at first to gather sticks, to make charcoal, to sell those, but it was never enough to feed 13 children at one time. Sometimes she would try to go to the river and wash clothes. It was never enough to feed all her children. So one day, she had heard about the possibility of making some money if she could sell one or two of her children. As she lay in bed that night, she pondered which two children to sell. She would sell two of her prettiest daughters to two men in the Dominican Republic as house slaves. She tossed and turned that night, but in the morning, she woke Gerlande up early in the morning. Gerlande remembered her mother waking her up and putting some shoes on her and a little dress on her and her sister. Had taken their hand, they walked down that trail to head to the mountain rocky range that separates Haiti from the Dominican Republic. She never told Gerlande where she was going or what they were going to do. She only told her that she was going to go work for some nice people. When Gerlande arrived on the other side, there were men waiting in two cars to pick up these two little girls under the age of 10. Gerlande's mother walked over, handed these little girls to each man, and the man put some money into the mother's hand, maybe $50 US. Gerlande remembered the day she got in that car and pressed her little face up against the window, looking for her mother, looking for her sister as the other's car sped away in one direction, and her mother's face as her car pulled away in the distance. Her mother stood there for a long time, watching until the car drove out of sight. Now, Gerlande was going to a country that was not her language. She spoke Creole, they spoke Spanish. She was treated so bad. She was abused, she was beaten, and she was given food left over after all the other children had eaten. In the meantime, her mother, who'd gone back to feed these children, that $50 US only lasted for a short time, and there was no food left again to feed the other children. Can you imagine a mother selling a child or two children in order to feed the rest of the children? It would be like being on a lifeboat when there's not enough room for everybody to survive. And you've got to think of who to throw off the edge of the lifeboat in order to save the rest. That is a decision that no mother in the world should have to make. Which child to sell so that others can live? My friend, that is not fair. Haiti is just an hour and 45 minutes from the shores of Miami. Gerlande, her mother, her children, they are our neighbors. And they're depending on you for help. And children just like Gerlande and her little sister every day, they will risk being sold to someone for money if food does not arrive in time.
Haiti is the poorest country in the world. Everyday children are hungry and starving, which in many cases leads to death. These children have no hope. They have no desire for school, no strength to play, and no aspirations of a better future. You can help them change their situation by providing food, because food brings hope. Will you get involved today? For your gift of $24, you will provide 648 meals of well-balanced, nutritionally rich, great-tasting food. This will help feed 3 families for an entire month. Yes, for just $24, less than the average restaurant meal for your family, you will be feeding 3 families for an entire month. Your gift of $120 provides 3,240 meals. Your one-time or monthly gift of $120 will feed 15 families for a month, and your generous gift of $1,000, which provides 27,000 meals, will feed an entire impoverished Haitian village. Please consider Haiti's hungry children today by calling the number on your screen, visiting our website, or sending in your gift today. We cannot do everything, but together we can do something. On behalf of the hungry children of Haiti, thank you, and may God richly bless you.
May God bless you. I want to share with you a word from the mission field here in the country of Haiti, where Sherry and I live as full-time missionaries of the Lord by faith. And you know, we have lived here for 23 years, and we have seen a whole lot here in Haiti. And we've seen children suffer, people suffer, that some nights, even this very time, we lay in bed at night and cry because of the suffering of especially the children. But you know me, I just want to tell you a quick story to encourage you. Jesus said, go ye in all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. And so Sherry and I, we moved to Haiti, and what we was going to do was have crusades all over Haiti, and we still do. But we was just going to preach and preach to thousands of people. And that's what we did, and that's what we still do. But in the beginning, that's all we was going to do. And what changed our life in Haiti forever was a little woman, was in a place called Carrefour, Haiti, for some of you who may know where that is. I was preaching in an open-air service under the stars. Had a platform set up and big floodlights. And a woman was about 10 rows back, near in the back in there, right in there. And all of a sudden, I was telling people how good God is and how God loves them. And all of a sudden, she held up her baby above her head as high as she could above the crowd of people. And she yelled out, if God is so good, why is my baby starving to death? That night changed Sherry and I's life here in Haiti forever. And I knew then that Sherry and I must do more than just preach the gospel. And we still preach all over Haiti. We have crusades, we preach. But what we're also known for is giving out food. Matter of fact, 19 million meals last year. The reason why when you give food to people, they see the love of God and they see the goodness of God. And it's the goodness of God, the Bible says, causes men to come to repentance. And so this is the bottom line. The reason we give out food, because we have seen the desperation of the hunger of especially the children of Haiti. But this is another way to minister, is giving the poor food, food from heaven and food from the earth. God bless you.
You know, one part of being a missionary is learning how to do hands-on work in third world countries, especially in the regions beyond. Many times that includes our feeding programs, it includes crusades, it includes teaching people sustainability projects, it includes orphanage projects, it includes schools, water projects, yes, and mobile clinics. That's what we love to do. And if you're thinking about becoming a missionary and being involved in any of these projects, whether it's in Haiti, Africa, any place in the world, you need to come to our Missionary Training Center starting in the summer of 2015. We're going to teach you all the things that Bobby and I have learned over the years. You're going to learn the things that we call them the generals of Haiti, the great missionaries of Haiti who've been here 20 and 30 years. Let them impart knowledge unto you. And if you're going to be a missionary, then be the best. Contact Love a Child for more information and come to the regions beyond. This is Madam Tazimen. She's got a food card today. She's going to be receiving food today. I'm going to ask her how many children. She's been standing here crying. I'm going to ask her how many children does she have. Madam Tazimen, combien timon again? I have 2 children. I'm going to ask her, is her husband alive? Est-ce que vous mariez au vivant ou bien?
Non, il est mort.
Qui l'a mort?
Le 25 janvier après tremblement de terre.
He died right after the earthquake. He died right after the earthquake. I'm going to ask her what she does for a living. Qui qualité travail vous faites pour?
Bonne laver pour nous.
I wash some clothes for people.
Bonne passer.
I maybe iron some clothes for people.
Mal parti de l'eau pour nous.
I carry water on my head for people.
Juste pour me occuper de nous pendant papa ou mourir.
Just so that I can take care of my children because their daddy died. I'm going to ask her if when she gets this, if she doesn't get food today, what will her children eat? Madam Tazimen, manger ça dans gros machine ou bien gros boîte. Si vous pas capable de joindre manger jeudi, qui ça ou va faire? Qui ça va faire?
Pas manger aujourd'hui. Laisse ça parce que tantôt t'as mal fait lessive. Mon qui joue t'as fait mon chercher mal bâti mon parce que ma compte ça pour faire pour cahier de timon. Mais les papa était là pas qu'on fait déjà travailler ça.
She said, well, it would be too late. I would probably not be able to go and wash clothes. I would try to go ask my neighbors if they have any food so I could try to take care of my children. This woman is in agonizing pain. If you are a mother or a grandmother or a grandfather or a father watching, if you don't think that this is serious, look in the face of this woman right here. And you will see pain written all over her face. She's a widow woman. She doesn't know what she's going to do. She has no job. And this food that she's going to get today is going to be life or death, or life or hunger for her children today. That's why this feeding program is so important. That she's anxious right now. She wants to go get in the food line and get her food card, and she's going to do that because somebody helped us with food. But if you're listening today, please, there are mothers like this all over Haiti. They've lost their husbands during the earthquake. They are wringing their hands. They don't know what they're going to do from day to day to feed their children. Please, we need you to respond right now. There's a toll-free number on the screen right now, and you can pick up the phone and say, I want to sponsor so many meals. Those numbers will be on the screen. We can help these mothers feed their babies every single month. It will be food that they can depend on. And they need something that's called hope. Est-ce que manger, si vous manger, vous avez espoir?
Oui,
Oh. She said, yes, if I have food, I have hope. But if I have no food, I have no hope. God bless you. You know, I wanted to share the rest of the story of little Gerlande with you. This story is just one that has a happy ending. Little Gerlande, who was sold in the Dominican Republic, her and her sister, by their own mother for money to feed the other children. Her story has a happy ending. By a miracle from God, Gerlande escaped that family and ran to a police station in the Dominican Republic. They found that little girl and turned her over to social services. And their social services in Haiti, they called one of the missionaries that we share our food with every month. When you sponsor food, we share what we have with 63 other missionary organizations who are struggling to feed their children. And one of them was a missionary who worked with the organization to try to rescue children like Gerlande. Gerlande was rescued. She was reunited with her mother, but her mother decided it would be best if she could be adopted by someone in the United States. I'm happy to say that she is on the list for adoption. And any time now, she will be discovered by a wonderful, loving family. You know, her life has changed, but there are so many children out there like Gerlande, and they're waiting, and they spend every single night hungry. And they will die unless you and I hear the cry of the poor. Thank you.
Would you prayerfully consider partnering with Bobby and Sherry Burnett in the years ahead by remembering Love a Child in your will or estate planning? Making a will is an important yet often overlooked aspect of wise stewardship. By including Love a Child, you are investing in the lives, the health, the education, and the future of untold numbers of impoverished children here in Haiti. If you are planning on making a donation before the end of the year, perhaps you would consider donating stocks, bonds, real estate, or other assets of value to ensure that the outreaches of Love a Child continue uninterrupted. Please go to the website, call the number on your screen, or write to the address and let us know. Leave a legacy of hope and compassion by providing a better future for the children of Haiti. And remember, only what's done for Christ will last.
You know, I remember just several years ago, Bobby and I were in a village called La Tibonite, and actually we call it Bethel. It's one of the toughest villages that we distribute food in. In fact, a lot of times we have to have 40 people go along with us to try to help us keep the crowd away or to control the crowd, because at any given time, if one sack or one box of food gets dropped off of the top of the truck and onto the ground, people will dive on it, and a person could get a broken arm, a broken leg, or we could lose control of the line, and a big riot will break out over food. But I'll never forget, Bobby and I were there one day, and we were going to wait till the people who work for us were on the top of the truck, and they had some sacks of rice, and they were distributing the food. And I watched to the left. There was a little mother. She had like a ragged dress on. She was so poor looking, but in her arms she was clutching a tin bowl. And I knew this woman had 5 or 6 hungry kids. And I was watching her as everybody was coming through getting food. And all of a sudden, from the top of the truck, a bag broke, the rice scattered all over the ground. And all of a sudden, the people rushed. And in desperation, this poor woman, this skinny, frail woman, rushed over and she tried to fight her way through the crowd. And she held her bowl and she got down on her knees and she started scraping up the dirt and every little grain of rice she tried to. Somebody grabbed her bowl from her and they fought with her and pushed her out of the way. She was so desperate to try to feed her babies. And as I looked at her over to the left, I saw her just clutching this empty tin bowl. She hadn't got anything for her children to eat that day. It's an image that will always be ingrained in my heart because we use food to win people to the Lord. But today, you're not watching this program by accident. As Bobby will tell you, God has a plan for you.
You know, living in Haiti for 23 years, the hardest thing is seeing little children suffer because of no food. When, you know, Haiti is so close to America.
Yes.
Just from Miami, it's an hour and 35 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes from Miami. Yet how can Haiti be recognized now as the poorest country in the world? But we see the desperation of the people every day.
Yes.
And that's what hurts us so much here in Haiti, Sher and I. Some days we lay down at night and we're totally drained mentally and spiritually and physically from seeing the desperation of people who need food. Please help today. Get to $24. You can supply 648 meals. For a gift of $120, you can supply 3,240 meals. For a gift of $500, you can supply 13,500 meals. For a gift of $1,000, you can supply 27,000 meals. For a gift of $10,000, you can supply an entire 40-foot container. We always say 270,000 meals, but actually now it's 272,000.
Yes.
But save a lot of lives. The toll-free number's on the screen. You may call toll-free. Go to your phone. Please pick up the phone. Call. Make a difference. You can make a difference.
Yes.
Here in Haiti. And it will go right on the credit card then. It's secure. It's fast. Or you go give online. Or you may write our mailing address. We will write you back a personal letter, whether you give online or call by the telephone. We're going to write you back a personal letter, and we're going to put a picture inside. But give today, and God will bless you for your giving.
Yes.
According to Psalms 41, verses 1, 2, and 3. Let God use you. Make a difference today. This is why Sher and I live here. We give our lives here.
Yes.
But without you, we can't do it. We must work together. We need you. The people of Haiti need you. Please call or give online now. God bless you. And thank you in advance.